Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review For All Mankind, Season 2. And this is one of the original Apple TV Plus launch shows that took place in an alternate 1969 where the Russians beat us to the moon. And the space race continued, escalating to higher places, and this show, I guess you could say, is starring Joel Kinnaman, but it really is an ensemble of a bunch of different characters in the space program. And now we jump to the 80s, and it's the Reagan administration and what would have been the end of the Cold War. There's escalation, and we're up on the moon at the same time with the Russians, and there's a lot of tension involved in that, trying to take our place on the moon. And there's definitely tensions and building kinds of drama between what if, like, some of the Russians try to defect to the US bases, or what happens if there's some kind of invasion, which this season definitely cranked up the action and the suspense and the intensity of the show, especially towards the last two episodes, delivering some really intense and pretty impactful action and thrills, which you didn't really get a whole lot of that in the first season. And you have in this season, there's a tragedy that hits the Baldwin family, Joel Kinnaman being the patriarch, playing Edward Baldwin, and his wife played by Chantal Van Senten, and they have adopted a girl after the loss in their family in the first season, and she is Vietnamese, and their son daughter Kelly, played by Cynthia Wu, has her own things, and she's trying to go off to college. Maybe she wants to join the military, and she wants to find her real parents, potentially. And there's a lot of tension in the Baldwin home as you have Karen kind of wandering. And I have to say, there's some amazing sexual tension that builds between her and one of her deceased son's friends. And that's one of the more interesting storylines going on here, and what kind of effect that has on Joel Kinnaman's character and his arc in the show, as he's the more volatile and angry and potentially dangerous astronaut because he has these explosive feelings. And then you have Michael Dorman's Gordo, who really gets a redemptive arc in this season, and they do some really awesome things, and this season has some weight to it. Not everybody's going to get out unscathed or even alive, and I think that's something that's impactful in this season. And we lead all the way up to the final episode that leaves a big hint at some things to come, and even the final shots that show our next big jump in time really hooks you. And it was very intriguing, and that whole last episode was really impressive, even though it's like an hour and 20-minute episode. These are long episodes. This is like at least an hour for each of these episodes. So it is a bit of a commitment for a TV show. But it's really worth it, and you have some of the other characters, whether there's some of the astronauts dealing with a variety of things, like you have Jodie Balfour playing Ellen, who has a fake marriage because she's a lesbian. She's married to a gay man who's obviously in a fake marriage with her, and she has the feelings that she had for her fellow astronaut in the first season creeping back as she comes back into town. And you have all these different kinds of storylines. You have all of the alternate history. You got Ronnie Reagan in this one, who has some interesting moments with some of the characters. You have Sonia Walger, who plays Molly Cobb, who is dealing with losing her sight, and that brings some drama. There's a lot of story threads in this show because you need it to fill out over like an hour episode each time for 10 episodes. So some of them are more interesting than others. Some of them are more cliched than others. Some of them are going to shock you and really hit you in an impactful way. I honestly liked this season more than the first season. I thought there was some more intriguing things that they tried out with this, and the update to the 80s setting I thought was really impactful. and it advanced our characters to some interesting places, and in the end, even if it's a little bloated, it's a little long, it still delivers quite a bit of enjoyment and some thrills, and this one definitely had some emotional impacts this season that were unexpected, and some twists in terms of characters and their connections, which were also unexpected. So For All Mankind Season 2 I think is an improvement over the first, and maybe they could streamline it a little bit moving forward. There's a lot of moving parts, but, you know, in the end, I still enjoy the show. But those are my thoughts on For All Mankind Season 2. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some TV. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.